Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Aganda Timarandasya Ganajana Shivakaya Chakshur Umilitam Yena Tajma Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Hare Krishna. The following video series is a summary of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam was translated into English by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Also included are His in-depth commentaries known as purports. These purports unpack the often complex and symbolic language of the text, making it understandable to a wider audience. The Srimad Bhagavatam, also known as the Bhagavata Purana, is considered the most important of sacred scriptures. Composed around 5,000 years ago, it is considered the ripened fruit of the tree of Vedic literature and the original commentary on the Vedanta-sutra. The author of Srimad Bhagavatam is Srila Vyasadeva. He is also the compiler of the Vedas, classified as a Purana, a vast genre of ancient stories and knowledge encompassing history, philosophy, and spiritual teachings. Srimad Bhagavatam includes stories of avatars, creation narratives, lives of saints and sages, philosophy discourses, and practical guidance for spiritual life. Divided into 12 cantos with over 18,000 verses covering 10 subject matters. 1. The elemental creation. 2. The secondary creation. 3. The planetary systems. 4. Protection by the Lord. 5. The creative impetus. 6. Manvatars. 7. The science of God. 8. The dissolution. 9. Liberation. And 10. The supreme shelter. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya-lila, chapter 25, text 143 and 144, Lord Chaitanya, speaking to Prakrisananda Saraswati, tells him, translation, the meaning of the Vedanta-sutra is present in Srimad Bhagavatam. The full purport of the Mahabharata is also there. The commentary of the Bhagavad Gayatri is also there and fully expanded with all Vedic knowledge. Srimad Bhagavatam is the Supreme Purana. It was compiled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His incarnation as Vyasadeva. There are 12 cantos, 335 chapters, and 18,000 verses. Canto 1, chapters 1 through 7. Chapter 1. Questions by the sages. Chapter 1 begins with a group of sages gathered in the forest of Naimisharanya. The sages, headed by Sanak, were performing a great 1,000-year sacrifice for the satisfaction of the Lord and His devotees. They first glorified Suta Goswami as being pure, knowledgeable, experienced in hearing and chanting, and being blessed by his spiritual master. Understanding the spiritual disqualifications of the people in this age, the sages asked relevant questions. They especially desire to know what is the ultimate good for the people in general and what is the essence of all various scriptures. They are also very eager to hear about Lord Krishna. They ask 6 questions. 1. What is the absolute and ultimate good for the people in general? 2. What is the essence of all scriptures? 3. For what reason did the Lord take His birth from Devaki? 4. Tell us of the acts the Lord performs in relationship to creating the material world. 5. Describe the activities of the incarnations of the Lord. 6. Where have religious principles gone after Krishna's disappearance from this planet? Srila Jiva Goswami has commented that of these 6 questions, 4 are answered in chapter 2 and 2 are answered in chapter 3. Suta Goswami was present when he heard his guru Sukadeva Goswami first speak this Bhagavatam to Maharaj Pariksit. The meeting between Sukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Pariksit is told in chapter 18 and 19. Chapter 1, text 10. Prayena Payusha sabya kalva yasmin yuga gyana manda sumanda matyayo manda bhaga yudpadruta. Translation. O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, men almost always have short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. Chapter 2. Divinity and Divine Service. Before replying to the 6 questions he was asked, Sutta Goswami first offers his obeisances to his guru, Srila Sukadeva Goswami, and then begins answering the sage's questions. Sutta begins describing the relevance of the sage's inquiries, for they are about Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He then stresses the importance of the process of self-realization and its goal, devotional service to Krishna. Sutta further explains that since Krishna is the absolute truth, one must satisfy him by devotional service. Text 16 through 24 explains the gradual progression of consciousness as one overcomes the effects of the modes of nature and attains pure devotional service through the proper hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam and serving pure devotees. Sutta then explains Lord Krishna's position as beyond the modes of nature and therefore instructs that those serious about liberation worship only him, for the Lord is the supreme goal of life. In text 30 through 34, the chapter ends with Sutta's description of how the Lord, although transcendental to the material world, first creates the material world and then maintains his creation. Chapter 2, text 6, Savaya Pushpam Paro Dharmo Yato Bhaktir Adhokshaje Ayaktukya Patihata Yayatmasu Prasidati. Translation. The supreme occupation, Dharma, for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. Chapter 3. Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Sutta Goswami describes the 3 roles of the Purusha avatars in the creation of both the total cosmos and the individual universes. Sutta then briefly describes 22 incarnations of God that appear within this universe, but explains that the Lord actually has unlimited incarnations. Text 28 explains that though innumerable incarnations exist, Krishna is their fountainhead and is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sutta Goswami then explains that the material forms, gross and subtle, of both the Lord Virat Rupa and the living beings are actually imaginary. Therefore, learned men describe the glories and pastimes of the Lord's incarnations so that the conditioned souls can be freed from ignorance and achieve ecstatic love for the Supreme Lord. Sutta Goswami then glorifies the Srimad Bhagavatam as the incarnation of Lord Krishna, meant for delivering the conditioned souls of Kali Yuga. He also describes how the Bhagavatam was transferred from Srila Vyasadeva to Sukadeva to himself. Chapter 3, text 40. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Purnam Bara Samahitam Utam Sloka Charitam Chakra Bhagavan Rishi Nishre Rashasya Lokasya Danyam Swasyamanam Mathat. Translation. The scripture named Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of God, and it is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people, and it is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Chapter 4. The appearance of Sri Narada. Sunaka Rishi inquires from Sutta Goswami about the history of Sukadeva Goswami speaking the Bhagavatam to Maharaj Pariksit. Sutta begins retelling how Vedas compiled and edited the Vedic literature for the benefit of the unfortunate souls in Kali Yuga. Text 26 through 33 explains that even after his great work was complete, Vedas still felt dissatisfied. Just as he was contemplating the cause of his despondency, his spiritual master, Narada Muni, appeared. Chapter 4, text 17 Bhauti kanam cha bhavanam sakti risam chatat kritam ashradad hanam nish sattvam durmedham risita yusha. Translation. The great sage who was fully equipped with knowledge could see, with his transcendental vision, the deterioration of everything material due to the influence of the age. He could also see that the faithless people in general would be reduced in duration of life and would be impatient due to lack of goodness. Thus he contemplated for the welfare of men in all statuses and orders of life. Chapter 5. Narada's instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam for Vyasadeva. Narada Muni, fully understanding the situation, inquires from Vyasa about the root cause of Vyasa's unhappiness and hints about the solution. Srila Vyasadeva requested his spiritual master Narada to reveal to him the cause of his despondency. Narada then reveals to Vyasa the importance of directly describing the glorious pastimes of Krishna, and he also tells him the dangers that could arise due to Vyasa's previous writings, which only indirectly hint at the glories of the Lord. Narada then tells Vyasa about the secure position of a devotee serving Krishna. After describing the Lord as both impersonal as well as personal, Narada asks Vyasa to vividly and directly describe the pastimes of Krishna. Narada then explains to Vyasa how he, through the association of great Bhaktivedantas, became fixed in the confidential devotional service of the Lord. Narada glorifies working in Krishna's service while remembering his glories. After glorifying transcendental sound, Narada then requests Vyasa to directly glorify the Lord's activities for the benefit of suffering humanity. Chapter 5, Text 17. Tvakta svadharma charanam bhujam hare bhajam apakvo tapatet tato yadi yatrakva vabhadram abuham swakim kovarta hapto bhajatam svadharmata. Translation. One who has forsaken his material occupations to engage in devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage, yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, does not gain anything. Chapter 6. Conversation between Narada and Vyasa. Vyasa inquires from Narada how he has passed his life after the departure of the sages. Narada describes that after his mother was bitten by a poisonous snake and died, he began traveling. Once, as he sat beneath a banyan tree, he began meditating on the Lord of the heart. As Narada Muni meditated, the Supersoul first appeared to him and then departed. Narada Muni was grief-stricken. The Lord then spoke to Narada, and his words dispelled Narada's grief. After recounting his meeting with the Supersoul, Narada tells Vyasa how he spent the remainder of his life. Narada then describes his next birth as a great sage, Narada Muni. Vyasadeva then hears of the transcendental activities that Narada Muni now continuously performs. Narada finishes instructions to Vyasa, and Suta Goswami narrates the departure of Narada. Chapter 6, Text 16. Dayayatas charnam bojam Pava nirjita chetasa arkantas yur kalasasya riyasin me sanir hari. Translation. As soon as I began to meditate upon the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, with my mind transformed in transcendental love, tears rolled down my eyes, and without delay the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, appeared on the lotus of my heart. Chapter 7. The son of Drona punished. Sanakarishi inquires from Suta Goswami about Vyasa's activities after Narada's departure. Suta first describes Vyasa's meditation, and through his meditation, Vyasa perfectly understood the Lord, the living entity, and the Lord's material energy. Vyasa, in order to save the conditioned souls from misery, then compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam and taught it to his son Sukadeva Goswami. Sanak then asked Suta, "Why, Sukadeva, who was already on the path of self-realization, took the trouble to study Bhagavatam. After Sutta replies that even liberated souls are attracted to Srimad Bhagavatam, Sutta begins answering Sunaka's earlier questions about Sri Krishna, Maharaj Pariksit, and the Pandavas. He begins by explaining that Ashvamedha, the son of Arjuna's martial arts teacher Dronacharya, killed the 5 sleeping Pandava princes after the battle of Kurukshetra. Ashvamedha flees after his heinous crime, and Arjuna sets out to capture him. Ashvamedha tries to escape by using his Brahmastra weapon on Arjuna. When Arjuna sees the glaring Brahmastra threatening him, he prays to Sri Krishna, who is driving his chariot, and then follows Krishna's instructions about counteracting the fearful weapon. Arjuna neutralizes the Brahmastra and then captures and binds Ashvamedha. Krishna then tells Arjuna that Ashvamedha should be killed. Arjuna brings Ashvamedha back to the Pandava camp. There, Draupadi and the other Pandavas were appalled to see Ashvamedha.